Okay, in this lesson, we're going to actually dive into what it takes to build your list. So now over the next few lessons, we're going to be getting into the first step, which is identify, and actually building your first list of prospects to reach out to. First thing I want to cover is just some important mindset pieces and a few principles about this. Number one is that you really want to focus on precision over quantity. Quantity is great, but more important is that you have a quality list that's pretty narrowed down. Again, if you have a really broad audience with a lot of different types of people, types of businesses in there, it's going to be hard to write an actual message that resonates with those people. So the more narrow and the more specific you can get to one type of business, one type of person, the better. So go for more precision rather than quantity. The second thing I want to tell you going into this is that you're not going to ever have a perfect list. Even if you build a list of a few thousand people on LinkedIn and get their emails, there's always going to be some people in there that just aren't your ICP, your ideal customer profile. It can never be perfect, so don't worry about everyone in the list being perfect. As long as you build a list and most of them look like they fit who you want to work with, and it's all good. Otherwise, you'll go crazy for days, trying to make the perfect list, and it's just not worth it because ultimately you're trying to play the numbers game. So again, it's not going to be perfect. Just get it the best you can, and don't worry about it being absolutely on point. And the last thing I would say going into this is that it's really experimentation. Like we said in the beginning of the course, you're running a series of experiments with your marketing, and you're just trying to learn from each one if it doesn't work out the way you want. So, a lot of times it might take a little bit of trial and error to really find, what the criteria is of your ideal clients. If you've been in business a while, you'll have a little bit of a head start because you'll already know some of the qualities of your best clients, and the criteria like how big the companies are, the location, geography, etc. So again, if you've been doing this a while, it'll be a little bit easier. But either way, it's going to take a little bit of back and forth to really dial in what is the perfect criteria for your target client. So be prepared to kind of go through this a couple times, but once you have the right audience dialed in, then you can just kind of keep doing that and it'll be much easier from there. But yeah, just be ready to experiment with it. And if the first campaign or two doesn't go the way you want, then you know what not to do for the next time. And that's really it. Those are the main things I want to tell you before we go into it. But let's dive into the next lesson.